Hello and welcome back to Get Great at Maths. I'm here to help you pass your maths exam, so hit that like and subscribe button. We're going to look at keywords, key formulas and how to gain top marks. So let's get ready to get great at maths. This is what you've been waiting for. The Edexcel Paper 2 predicted topics for 2025, and this is the algebra section. This lot you can see here are what I predict will come up on the paper 2, and there is another page of topics that will come up on algebra as well. Algebra, there is a lot of algebra in your exam, and these did not come up on paper 1. So all these topics you can see here did not come up in paper 1, so they will come up either on paper 2 or on paper 3. So if you can see these topics here, you didn't have to do this in your first exam, and you may have to do it on your second exam. This is the best guess I can give you as to what will come up. So we've got algebraic fractions, algebraic proof, coordinates and midpoints, creating and substituting into formulae, drawing cubic graphs, equations, expanding brackets, exponential graphs, factorising expressions, functions, inequality and iteration. So this is the first half. I'm going to show you the second half in a minute, and then I'm going to do some exam questions linked to all these different topics and show you the exam question and the mark scheme. So keep listening to find out more information. So all these topics here did not come up on paper 1. So these are the algebra topics, okay, that did not come up on paper 1. You can check out the number ones that I've already done. You can see what topics are going to come up on number, and there are other topics for the other areas as well. So we've got quadratic graphs, we've got real life graphs, rearranging formulae, recognising different graph shapes, sequences, simplifying expressions, simultaneous equations, solving quadratics, linear graphs, transforming graphs, trigonometric graphs, and velocity time graphs, looking at gradients and the area under curves. So these things did not come up, so you need to make sure you know how to do these. So here are all the predicted topics that may come up on paper 2 on the algebra section. So you can see here, these are all the different algebra topics that could come up in the paper. This is what I predict will come up because they did not come up on paper 1. So at some point these topics will come up. So you've got a whole list here and here. If you want to print this out or screenshot it, and then you can tick off as you go through, as you're going along, that's great. I'm going to show you lots of exam questions linked to these different topics and the mark schemes, so you can work through them at your own pace and pick out which ones you can do and which ones you can't do. Our first topic is algebraic fractions, and we're looking at factorising, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing and solving algebraic fractions. So this one here is a division, okay? So you need to know what to do. You've got to show that, so this is the key word, you've got to show that this expression here could be written in the form ax plus b over cx plus d, and you're told that a, b, c, d are integers, and that basically means a whole number. So you're going to have whole numbers in here, you're not going to get any fractions. So you've got to work out what the answer is. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So hopefully you managed to factorise the numerator and the denominator and worked out which ones are the same, so they cancel, and you're left with this expression here. The mark scheme shows that the answer should be x plus 2 over 2x plus 1. M1s just mean method marks, A1 is an answer mark, OE means or equivalent, and this is what you could have got for a method mark for getting the factorising of both of them correct or one of them correct, and this is for your final answer. You can state the values of A, B, C and D. That will give you the 3 marks in the exam. This question, we're looking at adding and subtracting algebraic fractions. So you've got to show that this expression could be written in the form ax plus b over x squared minus 25. Again, a and b are integers, which just means whole numbers. You've got to work out the value of a and b, and you must show your working in order to get the 3 marks for the question. So it's really important you show all your working. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So the mark scheme shows this. If you want to hear how to do these questions in more detail, then just send me a comment in the box below and I can go through the full solution for you and show you where the working is coming from. I'm just showing you the mark scheme here because I'm just giving you an exam question linked to each of the topics on the exam. If you want more detailed explanation on these, then just write in the comments below and I can get a full work solution out to you if you're not sure how to do it from here to here and you don't understand the mark scheme. Just let me know in the comments below. This is an algebraic fraction question with division in. So again, you've told what the question is. You've got to show that this expression can be written in the form of 1 over x, x plus r. Again, r is an integer, which just means a whole number. Press pause, have a go at using your rules of fractions to work out the answer. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic. So we have got 1 over x bracket x plus 4. So r was a value of 4. We've got M1 means method mark, A is an answer mark. This CAO means correct answer only. So you have to get the full correct answer to get the 3 marks in the exam. If you want to see a full work solution, then just drop me a comment, a sentence in the comment blocks below and let me know what you want to see. This question we're looking at adding and solving algebraic fractions. So it's solving now because it's got an equals in here. That's the difference. So you've got to solve this expression here. It's worth 4 marks. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. The answer was -2 and -3 over 2. There are 3 method marks and 1 answer mark here. OE just means or equivalent. Same up here. You can see the method. If you want more explanation as to how to do the questions, just drop me a note in the comment box below. Thank you. This is an algebraic proof question. So you've got to show that 2 to the power of 40 minus 1 is the product. Now that word product means multiply. 2 is obviously 2 numbers, and consecutive means they're in a row. So consecutive odd numbers are like the numbers 1 and 3, 5 and 7, 11 and 13. Any 2 numbers that are odd but are in a row, that's what this part here means. You've got 2 marks to be able to show this. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So hopefully you've worked out how to prove this. You've got to show the relationship to get the full 2 marks. M1 is a method mark here. C1 is a communication mark. So you have to use words in order to explain what is going on. If you want me to go through this in more detail, just drop me a line in the comment box below. This is a question on coordinates and midpoints. So you're told the values of 3 coordinates. You're told that M is the midpoint of A to B between these 2. N is the midpoint of B to C between these 2. And you've got to work out the distance between M and N. And you've got to give your answer to 1 decimal place for 3 marks. If you're unsure, I would recommend doing a quick sketch of where these points are to help you see what the midpoint means and what the midpoint here means in relation to these 3 points. So just do a quick sketch and that should help you answer the question. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So hopefully you've managed to come up with an answer. So you've got P1, which means a process mark. So if you try to do the process of finding the midpoint, which is adding together the 2 coordinates in the x value and then divided by 2, same for the y value, you've got 2 process marks and then 1 for your answer. So the final answer was 6.4 for 3 marks. Again, if you want to hear more information about how to do the question, just drop me a comment below. In this question, we're looking at substitution. You're told that t is 4m squared, take away 11. You've got to work out the value of t when m is equal to -3, and this is worth 2 marks. Fairly straightforward question. You're just substituting as the name suggests, substituting the m into the question. Have a go at doing it. Press pause and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So you should have got an answer of 25. This CAO means correct answer only. M1 is a method mark, A1 is an answer mark. You must get the correct answer to get the full marks. This is a question on cubic graphs. So we've got y equals 5 minus x cubed. So this is a table. You've got to work out what the missing values. You're told if x is equal to -1, then y is equal to 6. You've got to work out what the missing values are, and then you've got to plot them on the grid here. So press pause, have a go at working out what the missing values are in the table, then draw out the graph and see if you can work out what the graph looks like. Press play once you're ready to hear the answer, once you've had a go at doing that. Fantastic, so hopefully you've managed to draw out the table, draw out the graph, and you've got some values in the table and you've got the graph drawn out. So the mark scheme says that you have got 13, 6 was already given, 5, 4 and -3, and that will give you 2 marks for getting the values in the table. And the correct graph, it says plotting 4 points correctly and the curve is drawn. So remember, when you plot the points, you go across -2, so 2 to the left and 13 up. So that's what your first point should look like. The second one will be -1, so come across 1 and then up to 6. The next one will be 0 and then you've got 5, so across, don't go across any, up to 5. Then you've got 1 and 4, so you go across 1 and up 4, that's the next point. And the last one is 2, -3, so you come across 2 and then you go down 3. So you need to work out where that point is, plot them all and draw a cube. That's a minus x cubed, so it's going to be a graph that looks this shape. So you need to know the shapes of what the cubics look like. So this is a -x cubed graph, so make sure you've plotted your graph carefully. If you want me to go through it in even more detail and show you what the graph looks like, just comment below. This is a question where you've got to create and solve. So it's a tricky question because it's linking together lots of things and it's worth 5 marks. So you're told in the question you have got 8 identical regular octagons. So these octagons that you can see mean they're all exactly the same, which means the size of each length is exactly the same and each angle on each of these octagons are exactly the same. Each octagon has a side of length A. And you've got to work out, in terms of A, an expression for the area of the shaded shape. So this is the shaded shape in the middle. And you've got to give your answer in the form p bracket 2 plus root 2 all times by a squared, where p is an integer, which just means a whole number. And you must show your working, and this will give you 5 marks in the exam. Press pause, have a go at thinking about it and working out the answer. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic, so hopefully you've managed to do this and you've managed to get the full 5 marks. P1 is a process mark, so these are the processes you needed to go through. A is the answer mark, and your full answer should have been 4 bracket 2 plus root 2 all times by a squared. If you want to hear how to do it, just comment below and let me know which question you want me to do. This is a question where you've got to solve. So you've got to solve to find the value of x. So this equation here has got x on both sides, but there is only one value of x that is missing and it is worth 3 marks. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic, so hopefully you managed to get an answer of 8.5. M1's are method marks, A1 is an answer mark, this OE means or equivalent, so that's what that section there means. Give yourself a big tick if you got it correct. If you need some help, just comment below. This question, we've got an equation with 2 unknowns. So you can see that I've got a C and a D on the left-hand side and a C and a D on the right-hand side. This is the equation you've been given to start with, and you've got to work out the ratio between C and D. This is worth 2 marks. The next one, you've got the equation 6x squared is equal to 7xy plus 20y squared. And you've got to find the ratio of x to y again, remembering that x is bigger than 0 and y is bigger than 0. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic, so hopefully you've managed to come up with the answer 3 to 4. Remember, P1 means a process mark and A1 is an answer mark, so you must show your working carefully in order to get the marks. The second one had an answer of 5 to 2. If you need more help, just comment below and let me know what you need help with. This is a question to do with the equation of a circle. In this question, you are told that the equation of the circle is given here, which is x squared plus y squared is equal to 42.25, and you've got to work out the radius of the circle for 1 mark. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work, so hopefully you've managed to realise you've got an answer of 6.5. B1 means there is no method needed, you can just write down the answer. OE just means or equivalent. Give yourself a big tick if you got it correct. If you need more help, just comment below. This is a question where we've got a circle and we've got a tangent. So remember, you can obviously see the circle in the diagram here, but the tangent is a line that touches the circle at one point, and it's touching this point at this point here, A. Here's the centre of the circle that you're told. A lot of the information that is written down here is actually included on the diagram, so it gives you the value of B, which is over here, the point P, which is up here, and you're told that this angle in here is 30, so it's all on the diagram, and you're told that this is a tangent at point A. So remember, where you've got a tangent and you've got a radius meeting, it's a circle theorem. Okay, what is the circle theorem? Where a radius and tangent meet, that will help you. And you've got to work out the value of P. You've got to give your answer to one decimal place, and you've got to show you're working. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So the answer was 2.5. Remember, P1 is a process mark, so this shows you what the process is going through, and A1 is an answer mark. Give yourself a big tick if you got that correct. If you need some more help, just comment below. This is a different type of question where you've got a circle and a tangent. So again, you've been told the equation of the circle is x squared plus y squared is equal to 12.25. You've got a point that lies on the circle, and the coordinate of P is 2.1, 2.8. So this is on the edge or the circumference of the circle. You're told L is the tangent to the circle at the point P, and you've got to work out the equation of L, giving your answer in this form, ax plus by equals c, where a, b and c are integers, just means whole numbers again. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So again, if it is tricky, draw yourself a picky. So draw yourself the circle, work out where this point is, work out where the tangent is. So draw yourself a little diagram, again like in the previous question, to help see what's going on. The mark scheme shows the answer should be 6x plus 8y is equal to 35. There are 3 method marks and an answer mark. OE means or equivalent. If you've got it right, fantastic work, well done. If you need some help, just comment below. This is a question on expanding a single bracket. It's worth 2 marks in the exam. Remember, everything inside the bracket needs to be multiplied by the thing outside the bracket. That's what this word expand means. Okay, press pause, have a go at working out the answer, press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. You should have got the answer 4p cubed plus 12p squared, and this will give you 2 marks. So here's the method for here. Remember, these B marks means no method needed. You can just literally write down the answer. You don't have to show any working to get those numbers. If you got it correct, give yourself a big tick. If you need some more help, just comment below and I'll show you how to do the answers. This is a question on expanding a double bracket. So we've got to expand and simplify this expansion here. So x plus 5 times by x minus 9. Again, it's worth 2 marks. Press pause, have a go at expanding, press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic. Now remember, when you expand, there are multiple different ways of doing it. You can draw a grid out, you can use the claw, the moon, a smiley face. There are multiple ways of expanding brackets and ways to help you remember. If you want to hear more, just comment below and I can show you all the different methods. The answer was x squared minus 4x minus 45, and that gave you 2 marks. This CAO means correct answer only, so it had to be written like that. If you made a mistake with a sign, you wouldn't get the mark. Here we've got a proof question to do with expanding a double bracket. So we've got 2 brackets here and you've got to prove. So basically, when you use the proof question, you've got to make what is on the left hand side equal to what is on the right hand side, and this will be worth 3 marks in the exam. So you need to know expand the left hand side and rearrange, and you should be able to get what is on the right hand side. It might help you to rearrange, expand the left hand side and expand the right hand side and see if you can get the two expressions to meet. You might find that easier, so you don't have to do the factorising. It's personal preference. Have a go at doing the question. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic. So hopefully you've managed to have a go at doing the question. There are two method marks here for the proof. This C1 is a communication mark, so you have to use some words to explain why your answer works. You've got to explain why the left-hand side, LHS, is equal to the right-hand side. You've got to explain why they are both the same. Give yourself a big tick if you got it correct. Well done. If you need some more help, just comment below. This is an expanding double bracket area problem. So in the question, you're told you've got two squares, which are A and B, and you're told the length of the side of square B is 4 centimetres greater than the length of the size of square A, which you can see in the diagram, and you're told the area of B is 70 centimetres greater than the area of square A. You've got to work out the area of square B, giving your answer to 3 significant figures, and you must show your working for 4 marks. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So you should have got an answer of 116. P1 means a process mark again, A1 is an answer mark, and B1 means no method. You can just literally write down your answer. FT is a follow through mark, so that means it depends on what you did earlier. If you made a mistake earlier, you can still get a method mark there. OE means or equivalent, so if you've written it in fractions or written it like this, you can still get a mark. If you got it correct, fantastic work, well done. If you need some help, just comment below. We're looking at expanding triple brackets, so that means 3 brackets, and you can see the 3 brackets here, and you have got to show that these 3 brackets here can be written in this expanded form, and you're told again A, B, C, D are integers. This is worth 3 marks in the exam. Remember, this word integer just means a whole number. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So you should have seen you've managed to get this into this form here, and the correct answer is down here, where you've got x cubed minus 3x squared minus 13x plus 15 for the correct answer. That's what you've got to show. Give yourself a big tick if you got it correct. Well done. If you need some help, just comment below and I can show you how to get the answer. This is a question on exponentials. Okay, I'm just going to show you the keywords in the question, so the equation of the graph, and you can see it's drawn on the grid, and you've got to write down what this person has done wrong. What did they do wrong in this question, and it's worth 1 mark. Press pause, have a think about it, and then press play when you know what the answer is. Fantastic, so you should have made a statement. Now this C1 means it is a communication mark for an explanation explaining that 3 to the power equals 1, which is not where this graph is going through. So you need to look very carefully down at this area here as to why the graph is where it is. Give yourself a big tick if you got it correct. Again, you've got some information here, what is not accepted and what is accepted. Now, factorising is guaranteed to come up on one of the calculator papers. There are different types of factorising. This is the first type, so have a go at doing this question. Make sure you know how to factorise. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Well done. So hopefully you managed to get the answer 3x squared bracket 5x plus y. Again, M1 and A1 are method mark and answer mark. CAO means correct answer only. So make sure you know how to factorise into 1 bracket and also into 2 brackets. In this question, we're looking at inverse functions. We've also got a composite function first before we've got the inverse. Make sure you know how to do both of these things. This is worth 3 marks in the exam. Pause, have a go at working out the answer. Play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic. So here is your answer. M1's a method marks, A1 is an answer mark, OE means or equivalent. If you know how to do it, fantastic. If you need some help, just comment below. Inequalities are likely to come up on one of your exam questions, so you need to know how to do them from listing outcomes, to showing your answer on a number line, and to solving. You need to know how to do all of these things. You can see they're all worth different amounts of marks. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So here's the diagram you should have got. CAO means correct answer only. B1 is a method mark. CAO is correct answer only. C is a communication mark. Make sure you know how to do it. Give yourself a big tick if you got these answers correct, and write in the comment box below if you need some help on this topic. In this question, we're looking at graphical inequalities. Now, graphical inequalities is quite a tricky topic that is guaranteed to come up on normally a calculator paper, because you don't actually need a calculator to work out the answer to this. So the keywords are highlighted in the question. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So here are the inequalities. If you need more help on this, comment below. Otherwise, great work if you managed to get the answer correct. Fantastic. Good topic that you need to know how to do. You may be expected to write down what the inequalities are, or the next one is drawing it out. So here is a graphical inequality question where you've got to draw out the inequalities. So remember, draw out these inequalities. Remember whether you've got a dotted line or a whole line. You've got to label the region R that you want and make sure it's clear which area you are wanting. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. So here is a mark scheme. There is worth 4 marks on this question here, so you can see where the 3 method marks are. So you get for drawing the lines, for satisfying the inequality, and then the correct region identified. If you need more help on this or more explanation, just comment below and I can go through the full question in more details. Now, this is a tricky question on quadratic inequalities. So you need to be able to solve quadratic inequalities algebraically. Look at the keywords in the question. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, and this will give you 5 marks in the exam. Fantastic work. So here is the mark scheme, so you can see where the marks were awarded. See if you got the inequality correct. You can see the quadratic formula has also been used within this question. If you need me to go through this question in more detail, just comment below and I can give you more help. Remember, the CAO means correct answer only. M1s are method marks, A1s are answer marks. Give yourself a big tick. If you've got full marks, please comment below. If you've got full marks on the question, let me know how you're doing. Well done. This is a question on iteration. Now, iteration is guaranteed to come up on the calculator paper because you have to use a calculator to use the iteration formula. It is guaranteed you will have to do this on a calculator paper. So make sure you know how to do iteration. So you need to know how to do the rearrangement and then how to use the iterative formula. This will give you 4 marks in the exam. Easy 4 marks to be able to get here. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So the keywords you can see are highlighted here. The answer for the first question is C1 means a communication mark. You have to say why, so you have to use words to explain why. And here's the answer for the next one. You've got 2 method marks, and the third one is your answer mark for getting the answer here that you can see. Give yourself a big tick. Let me know in the comment box below how you did. Could you do this question? Do you need help? Let me know. Now, factorising is guaranteed to come up on the calculator papers. There are a variety of different ways to factorise. This one we're looking at the difference of 2 squares. In the exam you won't be told it's the difference of 2 squares. By be given it in the title really does give it away as to what you've got to do. But make sure if you've got something like this, you know that you've got to do the difference of 2 squares. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic. So the answer was factorising into 2 brackets. Remember, they're the opposite signs but the same letters. B1 means no method needed. You can literally just write down the answer to get the mark. Okay, let me know how you did in the comment box below. Again, this topic is guaranteed to come up on the calculator paper because you have to use a calculator to be able to solve these questions. So if you've got a quadratic and it says give your answer to 3 significant figures, it means you are using the quadratic formula. Okay? Depends on what year you're looking at with the exam. They may give you the quadratic formula, but it is worth recommend that you just learn what the quadratic formula is. So here's your quadratic formula. Have a go at working out the answer. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic. So you should have got these 2 solutions here for 3 marks. Give yourself a big tick and let me know how you did in the comment box below. Now this is a very tricky problem solving question linking the quadratic formula, and you can also see there's a bit of trigonometry coming in here as well. So I'll show you the highlighted words of the keywords in the question. Pause the video, have a go at working out the answer. This is a key topic for being able to problem solve and link different topics together. So it's not just algebra on its own, it's just not trigonometry on its own. You can link things together. So this is the key bits of information that you're told. Fantastic. So hopefully you managed to get an answer. And here was the answer of 5/3. Comment below to let me know how you got on. Okay, great work. Well done. Now, completing the square hasn't come up so far, so that means it will come up on one of the next papers. Again, this is a topic that you don't actually need to use a calculator for, so they put it on the calculator paper. So look through the keywords in the question. Okay, remember a turning point, this is the maximum or the minimum point, and it can be found from the completed the square form. And you must complete the square, and you've got to show the turning points are here. Show questions are lovely because you are told the answer, so it should be a guaranteed 3 marks in the exam. And remember to show all your working. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So hopefully you've managed to come up with an answer here. Remember, P1 is a process mark, A1 is an answer mark. Great work. Let me know how you did in the comment box below. Now this is a question on real life graphs. Now students find these difficult because you've got to give word answers to what the question is asking. You can see the keywords in the question and you've got to understand what is going on in this graph and what it means. Have a think about what it means. Press pause and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic. So here's the answer to part 1. This C1 means it is a communication mark. Okay, so make sure you know that you are using enough words, that there are words here to explain what is going on. The last one, again, is a communication mark, and you've got to explain what is going on. So using the correct explanations will give you the marks. Comment below to let me know how you got on. Now this question is on rearranging or make whatever letter has been given the subject. So I've just put X here, but in this case here it's the letter M. So make M the subject of the formula. Often on Edexcel they use the language, the subject of the formula rather than the word rearrange or rearranging, but you need to be familiar with both. Basically what it means is put M on its own. So go M equals, and you've got to rearrange this equation so it goes to M equals rather than F equals. That will give you 3 marks in the exam. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So hopefully you've managed to rearrange to get this expression here, M equals F plus 4 over F minus 3. Here are where the marks were awarded. Give yourself a big tick and comment below to let me know how you did. Now, recognising graphs is a key topic that comes up on exam papers. It hasn't come up so far, so it is going to come up in the future. So make sure you know what the different types of graphs are. You should be able to look at these graphs and you should be able to know what these graphs mean. So look at the keywords and match them up and see if you can match up the graphs to the description. It is crucial that you know what the shapes of graphs mean. Press pause and then press play when you've got an answer. Fantastic. So these are the answers you should have got, and B is a mark that just means you don't need to show any working. So it just means there is no method needed. You can literally just write down the answer, and that's what should have been written in the boxes over here. Fantastic work. Please comment below to let me know how you know your graphs. Now this question is a sequence question looking at term-to-term relationships, and you're told that you've got a Fibonacci sequence. So you need to know what the Fibonacci sequence is. This is the start of the Fibonacci sequence, and then you've got to work out what is next. So there are different types of sequences. On the higher tier, it is always going to be slightly more tricky than the normal Fibonacci sequence. So you can see it's done here in terms of algebra, but you will get sequences on your exam, so make sure you know how to answer sequence questions. Press pause, then press play when you've got an answer. Fantastic work. So these are the key words that have been highlighted here. This was your answer. You should have got an answer of 12. This P1 is a process mark. A1 is an answer mark. Remember, the CAO means correct answer only. So make sure you know what these letters stand for in the mark scheme. Great work. Well done. Now this question is a question to do with linear sequences. Now linear sequences are the easiest type of sequences to deal with, and it basically means they go up in a constant gap. So if you look at the sequence, these numbers, the difference between 7 and 13 is the same as the difference between 13 and 19. But in this question here, they've used the language arithmetic sequence. Don't let arithmetic sequence put you off, because an arithmetic sequence and a linear sequence are exactly the same, and all it means is this sequence goes up by a common number. So what is this number going up in? What is the difference between each of these numbers is always the same, and that's what this word arithmetic sequence and linear sequence mean. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer to the question, then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. So you can see the keywords have been highlighted here. The answer to this first question was 6n plus 1. And this time you had to go the opposite way, going from the nth term to show whether negative 58 was in the sequence. Here's your answer for 2 marks here. It says shown with supportive working, so you must use words to explain what is going on to get the full 2 marks for this in the exam. Comment below to let me know how you've done. Well done. Now, quadratic sequences are very tricky, and students find these very, very difficult. So here you've got some information given about this quadratic sequence, and you've got to work out the 6th term. But here you've got a different quadratic sequence, and you've got to work out the nth term of this sequence. So you need to know the steps in order to find the quadratic sequence. Okay? It will come up on the exam. Make sure you know how to do it. Press pause and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic. So you can see the keywords that have been highlighted here, and the mark scheme was 42 for the first one, and then n squared take away n. Now there is a correct method for doing this. If you want to see me to show you how to do this correct method, if you don't know how, just comment below and then I can make a video for you to show you the full working out as to why the answer is n squared minus n. Now, students find simplifying expressions normally quite easy, but when it comes to the higher paper, you can see that this is quite a wordy question linked in with lots of algebra terms written down here, and it does look quite frightening when you look at it. But you've got to go slowly, read the question, do what it says, and then see if you get the right answer. So look at the keywords of the question, have a go at answering the question, and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. So just pause the video for a minute, have a go at working out why Peter's wrong, have a look at it. If you've got it already, fantastic. If you're unsure, okay, just watch the video. Okay, well done. So you can see the keywords are highlighted here in red. Answer requires an explanation, and it's a C1 mark, which means it's a communication mark. So you must be able to communicate clearly. These are the acceptable answers, and these are answers down here are not acceptable. So make sure you've picked an acceptable answer, which will give you the mark in the exam. Comment below to let me know how you've done. You should be able to pick up some nice easy marks on these questions. They're nice and easy. The question literally just tells you to simplify. You just need to remember the rules. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer. Press play when you're ready to hear the answers. You can see the keywords which are highlighted, which is basically the question. The answer just was m to the 6. CAO means correct answer only. And the last one was x to the power of 13. B1 just means that you can write down the answer. You don't need to show any working to get the mark. You can just literally write down the answer. Now, simultaneous equations students find tricky. It says in the question you must use algebra to solve. If you do not use an algebraic method to be able to solve these two simultaneous equations, you will not be getting the method mark for doing it. So you must use algebra to solve these equations. There are a couple of different methods you can use, and it is personal preference as to which way you go about solving it. On equations like this, I would probably recommend the elimination method, but you could rearrange and then substitute in. There is a different way of doing it. It's personal preference as to which one you prefer. It is worth 4 marks, so it's worth knowing how to solve equations simultaneously. It is a key skill that you need to know, and especially if you're going to go on to A level, solving simultaneous equations is crucial, so make sure you know how to do them. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic. So the answer was x is equal to -2 and y is equal to 1.5. If you want me to show you how to go through the method, just comment below. If you got it right, fantastic. Again, let me know how you've done, whether you could do it or whether you need help. At this stage here, you should be able to solve the equations simultaneously. If you're really good at doing it, then you should be thinking about doing A-level maths, because it is a crucial skill to move on to do A-level maths. Again, a tricky question, because this is a hidden simultaneous equation question. You have got to create some simultaneous equations from this vector question. So you look at the question, you think, oh, it's just vectors. But actually, there are hidden simultaneous equations within here. So it's very tricky to get these 3 marks, because you had to know that not only is it a vector question, it's a simultaneous equation question. So you need to know how to link these 2 topics together. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. So the keywords are being highlighted here, and the answer was B is equal to 3A. So fantastic work if you managed to get the answer. Remember, this P1 is a process mark, A1 is an answer mark, OE just means or equivalent. So well done if you got it correct. Just comment below to let me know how you got on. Fantastic work. Now, simultaneous equations, when you've got a linear equation, which you can see here, and the quadratic equation, are crucial skills that you need to know for higher GCSE and also thinking about doing A-level maths. So it's really important that you know how to solve equations when you've got linear and quadratic, and you're going to have to do substitution. That is the only way, or the easiest way, to solve this, by doing substitution. Now, it's personal preference whether you substitute y into here or you substitute x in. Look at the equation and see which way around it makes it easier for you to do. So choose it to be the easiest. Personally, I would rearrange this to get y and substitute in here. It will give you 4 marks in the exam. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic. So you can see the keywords are being highlighted here. And the answer, okay, was for solving and getting down to x minus 1 or squared equals 0. So it has one common point at 1. So that is your answer. This C1 means a communication mark for stating that you've got one common point and you've stated what that common point is. There is only one solution for x, which is the value of 1. So this communication mark is really important to get your last and final mark. You must use some words to explain what is going on. If you manage to get that correct, you're in a good position to be thinking about doing A-level maths. Okay, it is a really good skill to make sure you know how to do. Now, simultaneous equations, when you've got a circle and a line, work in exactly the same method as when you've got a line and a quadratic equation. So you can see here this is quadratic because you've got squares in here, but this time we have got a circle and a line. Now you've got to work out whether the tangent crosses the x-axis at this point here, and you've got to say whether he's correct or not. You must show your working. This is worth 4 marks. If you just write down yes, he's correct, or no, he's not correct, you will not get any marks for this. You must say yes or no and why you think that answer is correct. So it's really important to show why the answer is correct. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. So the keywords are being highlighted here. And here is our answer. So this P1 means it is a process mark. This C1 here is a communication mark. So this is meaning you need to use words to explain what is going on. So you have to use words to explain whether you were correct or not. The answer was no, but you have to support your answer and say why. So you have to include these things in here to get the full marks. If you just write down the answer no, you get 0 marks. Comment below to let me know how you did. Now this question here, I've told you a little bit in the title that it's solving by factorising. But this word here, solve, means basically find the value for x. Now to solve any equation where it's quadratic, it must be equal to 0. So you've got to rearrange this equation first before you can do any solving. And that's where students go wrong, because normally from this stage here, they like to try and divide both sides by x or by x squared, and they get in a right pickle and make a mess. So basically what you've got to do is rearrange to put it equal to 0. Now I have told you it's solving by factorising. That means putting it into brackets. Now we're going to be looking at on the calculator paper. So you could use your calculator to help you factorise, or you can use the quadratic formula because it just says solve. It doesn't give a method as to solve. I would like you to practice using factorising though, so you're hitting all the key skills that you need to for the exam that's going to be coming up. So try doing factorising. Press pause, see if you can work out the answer, and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. So the answer was 8 and -3. Here's the mark scheme. Again, you could have done it by factorising or by using the quadratic formula. Either way will give you the answer correct in the exam, but I wanted you to practice factorising because in the exam they won't specifically say you have to factorise. They'll give you, just leave it open to you to choose which method you want to use. Comment below to let me know how you did. Now this question here is solving again, but you have got a quadratic equation and I'm telling you I'd like you to solve it by factorising. In the exam, you're not told which method you have to use to solve. So if you can't solve by factorising and you really struggle to factorise this into 2 brackets, then you can use the quadratic formula. Okay, so make sure you know how to factorise because they don't generally state that you have to factorise, but it is easier to factorise if you know how to do it. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. So here's our answer. I've got our 2 values here. Here are the method marks and the answer marks. OE means or equivalent. So we want to do it by factorising this method up here. As I said, you could use the quadratic formula, but on this question, we're not going to use the quadratic formula because we're practicing the skill of factorising. Let me know how you did in the comment box below. Well done. Now, if you've been given a graph, a quadratic graph that you can see in front of you, you need to know what that quadratic graph means in relation to the root. So remember, the root is where the solution to this graph. So the root is basically where you're crossing the x-axis. So it's really important you understand what your graph means in relation to the solution. So make sure you understand the terminology of this word root. So the root is the point where you're crossing the axis. Press pause, see if you can work out what the roots are for the equation. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. So here are the key words. And the answer was any answer of minus 0.7 or 2.7. And you're allowed a range, so there is an error range allowed within here. So it doesn't have to be exactly what they say here. This B1 means you can literally just write down an answer. You don't need to show any working. In this question, we're looking at a straight line graph and we're looking at the gradient of the graph. So you've got to use this graph here and you need to know what the gradient means and you need to be able to calculate the gradient of any line. This will give you 2 marks in the exam. Press pause, work out the answer and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic work. So hopefully you've worked out the gradient and you got an answer of 0.14. So you can see that they did 14 divided by 100. If you need more detail as to what is going on with the mark scheme, then just write in the comment box below. Let me know whether you could do it or whether you need some help. Just let me know. In the exam, you'll be expected to know the difference between a linear graph, which is a straight line graph that we've got here. Now, my title gives you a bit of a clue that this is going to be a straight line. We know it's a straight line because there's no x squareds in this equation here. It's just literally an x. That's what makes it a straight line graph. So you need to know what a straight line graph is, and you need to be able to know how to draw it. You can do a table of values between -2 and 4 to help you, or you can just look at the gradient and the y-intercept. That can help you as well. So it's personal preference whether you want to go from this information or by doing a table of values. Whichever way works for you will give you the marks. So make sure you know how to draw a straight line graph when they've just given you an axis here. Press pause, have a go at drawing out the axis and draw the graph, whichever method you want to choose to use. The keywords in this question are highlighted here, and this is the table that you should have got. So if you draw out a table from -2 to 4, there's the table of values. You can see we've got some B marks, which just means you can literally just write down the answer. Or if you've drawn a graph with the correct information, then you can still get marks for other ways of doing it. Comment below to let me know how you found this question. Now, when you've got two straight line graphs, they could be parallel. Now, you've been given two equations, which are both linear equations, and you've got to say whether they're parallel or not. Remember, the key bit to say if a line is parallel is looking at its gradient. And the gradient is the coefficient of the x. So think about it. Make sure you know what parallel lines are. And you've got to give a reason as to whether these lines are parallel or not. If you don't write down a reason, you will not get the marks. And this is worth 2 marks. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer, and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. So straight lines are really important. So the keywords are highlighted here, and your answer should have been yes, and you should have shown why, because you should have got the same gradient for both equations, and you need to be able to say why. Give yourself a big tick if you got it correct. Well done. Let me know your thoughts in the box below. Now, straight line graphs and perpendicular lines are a crucial skill for GCSE and also for A-level. So you're really important that you can work out the equation of lines that are parallel and also lines that are perpendicular. The steps are really important here. Now, the key words of these questions is literally you've got the sketch of L1. The information here is already given in the diagram. This bit of here is for different questions, so you don't actually need to use this information on this question. And you've got to find the equation of the line that's perpendicular to L passing through Q. So make sure you know how to find these perpendicular lines. Now, perpendicular lines are lines that are at right angles. So you're looking for a line that is at right angles to L and passes through Q. So from Q here, you're looking for a line here. What is the equation of this line here? Press pause, work out the answer, press play when you're ready to hear the answer. Fantastic. So the answer was y equals -2x plus 3. These P1s are process marks, so you must know what the process is, and you should have come down to the correct answer. OE just means or equivalent. Give yourself a big tick if you got it correct. If you need any help or want more information, just comment below. Now, transforming trig graphs is a key skill that you need to know for GCSE Higher. You will also need to know it on your A-level exam as well. So transforming graphs moves on from GCSE up to A-level. So it's a really important topic. Make sure you know how to do the transforming graphs. Look at the key bits of information in the question, press pause, and then press play when you're ready to answer the question. So the key bits of information are highlighted here. You've got to find an expression for g of x in terms of x. So hopefully the expression you came up with was tan of x plus 270, all take away 5. These 2 marks here is a method mark and an answer mark. The CAO is the correct answer only. So make sure you know how to answer this question. Please comment below to let me know how you found this transforming trig graphs, because it can be quite tricky and people find it difficult. Now, this question here is a transforming function, and it's really important that you know how to transform any graph from this f of x notation. So it hasn't got an equation, but you're just using this notation of f of x to be able to transform the graph to y equals f of minus x. Really important you know the difference between all the different types of transformations, and you can use these rules to help you. Press pause, have a go at working out the answer. Press play when you're ready to hear the answer. So the keywords are here, and the answer was it was a reflection in the y-axis. So you need to know this means you were reflecting in the y-axis. So here is my y-axis, here's the mirror line, so it should be going the opposite direction like this, down and up there. So make sure you know how to reflect these graphs. Now the main types of transformations you're going to get are from y equals f of x, so again a graph that is unknown, to a graph where you've got f of x minus 4 on the end, or again f of minus x. So you need to know the different types of transformations, whether you're translating or whether you're doing reflections or whether you're stretching. So you need to know the different types of transformations. Press pause and press play when you're ready to hear the answer. So these are the keywords, and here is your answer. Remember, this B1 means no method needed, and the CAO is correct answer only, so make sure you know what the mark scheme means. And you can see that these are the coordinates over here that you needed to sketch the graph, so make sure you understand what you had to do with each of these questions. Let me know how you found the question in the comment box below. Now you'll be expected to know all three of the trigonometric graphs, the sin x, the tan x and the cos x graph. And you can see they've drawn out the graph of y equals sin x for you here. But we're going between 0 and 360. Now the question wants to know the solutions between 0 and 720, so make sure you read the question really carefully. Trig graphs are crucial so you understand how the solutions are working, and it's a key skill that you need to use not only at GCSE Higher, when you go on to A-level maths as well. So the skill that you learn here is really important for A-level. So make sure you can find all four solutions, because between 0 and 360 there'll be two solutions, but between 0 and 720 you've got four solutions. So that's the first part of the question. Then you've got to write down the equation of the reflected graph, so think about your transformations as to how that will work. Press pause and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer. So the keywords are highlighted here, and the answer was 37, 143, 397 and 503, and y equals minus sin x. So these are the marks. Remember, this M1 is a method mark, A is an answer mark, B means you didn't have to show any working, you can just write down the answer for this part. Please comment below to let me know how you found this question. Now this is a question of velocity time graph. So you'll be expected to know what a velocity time graph looks like, and you'll be expected to know what happens to do the gradient and the line, the area underneath the graph. So you'll be expected to know what the area represents, and you'll be expected to know what the gradient represents on a velocity time graph. So make sure you know the difference between the two. This question here, you're going to use trapeziums to work out an estimate for the area between 1 and 4, and you've got to write down what it means. Press pause, see if you can work out what the area is, and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer, and then think about what that answer means. Fantastic work. So hopefully you've looked at the keywords, and the answer was 19.1 for the area. So you've got two method marks here and an answer mark. The CAO means correct answer only, and here you've got to say that it's the distance travelled, so you've got to use a word or sentence to explain it's the distance or the travelled or how far you've gone, and that will give you your communication mark there. If you found this video useful, please comment and let me know how you found these questions, because they do get quite tricky. Now you've seen an example of all the different topics that I think will come up on the next paper. So you have to look through. These didn't appear on paper 1, so these are likely to come up on paper 2 because they haven't appeared so far. Not all of them will appear on paper 2, some of them may appear on paper 3. So once you finish paper 2, you can then cross off some of the things off of the list and think, okay, these are the ones that are left. But I've left you with an example of each different type of question, so you know how to deal with these in the exam. If you want me to go through in any more detail of any of the questions, just comment below and I can show you how to do any of the questions. But I've just given you a little bit of information about all the different topics that will come up over the next two papers. Hope you find this useful. Please share with your friends and let them know about this paper so then they can get some help as well. And just let me know if you've got any questions. Good luck revising and hope it all goes well. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to share, like and subscribe. Please follow Get Great at Maths on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook and X. What do you want to see next on Get Great at Maths? Please comment below. See you next time.